I looked to my left when you were coming up to the wagon, and I just see, I was like, oh, a bird just flew into the tree. I was like, what the hell? That's broken.
Okay guys, we got the first day of soybean harvest starting today, and we got about 20 miles to go to get to the farm. And so we had our wagons in storage here too. The whole train is taking off. I'm taking the combine, and then Spencer's taking the 2 wagons, and then Josie's falling in my truck. We're hoping we can at least get a little bit done. I'd be happy if we got 10 acres done. We got everything set, because it's a little moist out there. Ground's a little moist yet. And then tomorrow we can really get rolling. So you'll see harvest on my channel, Grant Hilbert, and then harvest on Spencer's channel also. I film mainly the daily stuff, and then he takes a while and he films later on, kind of in post a couple weeks after. Twist the knob. You better get going. Your ride's taking off. In case you guys don't know, that is Josie. She's on the harvest crew this year. She had the day off from work, and so we're like, we need your help. So that's Josie, Spencer's girlfriend, and now fiance. They're getting married summer of 2025. Check this combine cab out. Spencer has a bunch of live stream stuff in here. He's got 2 different cameras set up for a live stream so we can stream during harvest. And then he's got a keyboard over here that must be for my YouTube stuff. And then that must be able so I can watch the stream, watch myself on the stream set up in the combine. He says it works. We're gonna give her a shot. And to keep you guys updated, we've got about 150, 160 acres to harvest this year. I've got another 100 acres down south. That's 80, 90 miles away. It probably doesn't make sense to take the combine down there and harvest it. I've got some good neighbors. One of them, he's got an X9. He's like, hey, I'll harvest it for you. So we're gonna have him harvest it. Should be awesome. And he should be able to knock it out in like, I don't know, a couple hours, 8 hours, something like that. He should be able to knock it out pretty quick. So that'll work better. But I did buy a piece of ground up here. So that farm's now sold. I'll show you guys the new farm. And I've got everything traded, so all of our farmland's now in this area. So next year we'll have a lot more acres in this area. Things logistically wise, things will work a lot smoother. And we're off. Usually there's a super nice road to get up there, to get up to our farm. It's like super easy route, but they're doing a lot of blacktop repaving at the end of September, which kind of sucks. It's kind of tough getting up there. We got to cross this main highway here, this 4-lane highway, and it's a little challenging finding a route up there. And there's Mark and Bryce out riding on some beans. They already started, it looks like. Nice. I got going down the road, and then seed corn picker was coming down the road. That thing's like 16 rows wide, and yeah, there's no way I'm getting around that thing. So luckily Mark and Bryce are harvesting some beans here, so there we go. Seed corn. It's pretty cool. Now here we are getting to the field. Unfortunately, throughout the video, my mic will cut out a couple times. One thing that we got to work on for next year is controlling water, hemp, and soybeans. It's something in the wet areas of this farm that I definitely struggled with this year. Now, taking in all the factors of all the tree edges around the field that are going to lower yield and some of the wetter areas that got ponded out, I'm estimating that this field probably goes anywhere from 60 to 65 bushels per acre. It'd be awesome if we pushed higher, but that's just kind of my safe bet is 60 to 65. Seems like talking to a lot of neighbors, yield expectations for beans are actually coming in a little lower than expected this year. So we're gonna get the header hooked up here to the combine. Literally everything should be ready to go on this combine. I have all the settings set, rotor speed, fan speed, sieve, chaffer, everything I went through and set. So should just be hooking up, double checking things, and then we could start. getting started, letting everything load up. Got climate field view. Climate field view is all set up. Green stars loading up. Got some fuel in her. This gauge is very messy. We need to fix that at some point. Josh riding with me here. Josh is the Pioneer seed salesman, seed dealer. And we got some 2.5 A16Es. We're gonna see how they do. Some 2.5 beans. Next year I think we're gonna get some Z series beans, which is supposed to be some pretty good beans. So
you got the tried and true out there, Peak King resistance. Next year we'll get you on those Z beans and see the advantage of the new genetics.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Harvest. Here we go.
So it begins.
Yep. Should be good. Is there supposed to be a cover down there? Or am I just...
Oh, it feels like you would want that covered. Feels a little more vibrations than I'm usually feeling, but
Yeah. I noticed.
oh, this was the replant.
Yeah. This was the replant, and
This might be an ignorant thing, but it could have been.
Okay, so we're gonna see how many we're throwing out the back. The one thing, the combine, when I ran the header, it was shaking. It shakes a lot more shake than I'm used to. So maybe that's something to do with the feeder house. But how many beans are we throwing out? A lot. 5 in a square foot, which 5 in a square foot is like 1.2 bushels or something like that.
So it really doesn't look too bad.
Yeah. Boy, these beans are bigger than what I was finding out there. These are actually, like, this bean's pretty big. That bean's pretty small. 1, 2. Okay, we didn't see really enough to make like a major adjustment. We're gonna leave the settings how they are. I kind of got them set right in the middle, and then we'll keep going. Once we get into some better beans, go faster. But everything's looking decent out there, so. Okay, so we're unloading in the seed tender, and then Josh has a scale on there, and he's gonna run that scale against what I have on the yield monitor, and we're gonna make some adjustments to the yield monitor.
how much we weighed right there. So we'll see how much we are off. You only have to do this one time, then you're set for the rest of the year, at least for soybean. And then now we'll know exactly what we're yielding in the field.
So the combine is shaking like crazy right now, and so it's only when I run the header. When I run the separator, it doesn't shake like crazy. It's something that's different that I'm not used to. So we dropped off the header, unhooked the header. Now I'm going to run the combine, and we're going to run the feeder house and see if it's either the feeder house or the header that's making all this like shake in the combine. I mean, it is crazy. It's shaking the whole window off and then shaking this off. I'm not used to it at all. So here we go. Definitely the header. This is not shaking nearly as bad. I mean, this isn't shaking. This isn't shaking. It's definitely the header that's causing the shake. So me and Spence made some adjustments to the header here, and that's got to be what's causing the shake, is our adjustments to that header.
Pretty loose. We probably should have tightened that the other day. So then if we tighten this, we'll send it down. Right? No. If we... Now, there's play in there, but not a crazy amount. And this plastic glide, it's not rubbing on it. So now, this is the auger, and we want to adjust it, and we want to raise it up. The other day we raised it too far down, and that's why it's getting some slop. This should be pulling it up. All right, we made the adjustments. It should be balanced now, and hopefully it stops bouncing everywhere. Josh is heading out.
We ended up getting the yield monitor calibrated and dialed in, but my mic cut out again as we were pulling stakes on this sulfur trial. We ended up seeing a 3 bushel advantage with 100 pounds of AMS out front, right at pre-plant of soybeans. There was a couple of yield studies that came out that showed a huge advantage of sulfur on early plant soybeans, like ridiculous advantage last year of like 10 to 20 bushel advantage. And so I was just curious if we could get anything close to that. This trial didn't seem to do that, but I have another trial on one of my farms down south, and that one seems to show a little bit more potential, so we'll see what yield results comes out of that one. The beans are running just under 13%, so now it's time to start opening up the field.
All right, we're doing the headlands around the whole entire field now, and we got one wagon full. Everything's calibrated.
Beans are maybe a tad bit above expectations. Right now on this load we're running about 70, 71. That should be calibrated. So it should be good. They're running around 11, 12% moisture. So at the start of the day it was around 13%, but now these are around kind of that 11, 12%. So seem to be going good. Seem to not be throwing beans out the back of the combine, so I think we're set, good to go. It's probably the easiest first day we've had. I don't want to jinx it though. We haven't had any breakdowns or anything. There's a lot of rocks in all this ground where we're farming. This is part of the Des Moines Lobe, which Des Moines Lobe had a lot of rocks in it. So this is the first time I really have to kind of worry about rocks when I'm combining beans. The ground I owned previously wasn't rocky ground, and so I didn't even think about it twice about hitting a rock. But this ground, especially when you get on some of these side hills, it seems like there's a good amount of rocks in them. And it's tough to see every single rock. So just kind of do the best job I can right now.
We got our first load in. It was 12.1% and 500 bushels. So I don't know how much Grant wants to do tonight. Sun's going down. We'll start to get a little dewy. This is where my field ends and Grant starts right here.
Yep. Here we go. 100 bushel beans.
So far, the load yield on this strip through the field is doing about 74 bushel.
Okay, we're on harvest day 2. And these beans are gonna be ready to go. Probably could have been picking these like 30 minutes ago. Oh yeah. Beans are yielding a little bit above expectation. Things are rolling good, no major breakdowns. Yesterday I didn't really film much. We were doing a lot of different trials. The sulfur trial showed a 3 bushel advantage on one strip and then -1 bushel advantage on the other strip. And I think the -1 bushel is because we went into a wet spot on one of the strips there. I can kind of see how it went -1 bushel, but I was surprised. On the other strip, it was only 3 bushel advantage too. So I've got another trial down in my other farm of beans, and we'll see what the difference is there. But here we go. Too bad we couldn't just throw the grain on the train and keep rolling. That'd be kind of cool. We are rolling. I'm in some Spencer's beans right now. We're cutting at an angle. I don't cut the straightest without auto steer. I'm trying to keep a straight line, but we can get a little squiggly. Spencer's beans though are yielding better than my beans, like a noticeable difference by like 2 or 3 bushel it seems like, which is super interesting. He's got some really good beans out here. Seems like I got some more drainage issues than he has. Seems like on some of those hills, it seems like I have a lot of side hill seeps. Okay, so Spence is gonna take off with the wagons. It's gonna be a while till he gets back, so we've got another wagon that I can dump into. Should work good. We got the good old Missouri crossing. Spence doesn't know this, but I'm right on the back of the wagon. I'm gonna get a shot of him as he's going up the driveway, because I've got time to kill. Hopefully he doesn't slam on the brakes, otherwise I'm probably flying off.
Just over 100,000 pounds with 2 wagons and tractor. It's kind of like a fully loaded semi. So got both wagons dumped here, and then we'll go across the scale. That was 12.4%, and then it was 1,100 bushels. So Grant has a contract that we're filling right now, and then we'll fill mine, and then whatever's left over after that will be sale price or cash price.
Some unloading on Spencer. Loading on the go. Spencer's around the combine and I'm pulling the wagons. This ground is so nice, or this area is so nice to be hauling grain, because it's like 4 miles to the co-op, but everything is super flat. So like, I mean, this, you can pull 2 fully loaded and have no issues. It's awesome. Big guy running 16th gear here, and then run the RPMs down to 1900. We go about 19 mile an hour, 20 mile an hour with these wagons. They seem to trail pretty good. Once we get on pavement though, pavement's a little rougher, and so I might have to slow her down because we'll probably get bouncing on pavement. But it's just so flat.
Grant's going with the wagons, I'm running the combine. He's just getting to the co-op now, so since I'm full, I'll dump into this and he'll be back when I'm full next shot. And now it's a couple hours later, and we're halfway done with the field at this point. The sun's starting to set, and we're getting the last load of day 2 full before the co-op closes. So on the ticket there, the last one was 10.5%. So we started the day off at 12.5, and things just get drier and drier throughout the day. So it's good that we're stopping, and then tomorrow morning should be a little more damp.
Okay, so we got the last day of bean harvest here. Worked out nice. We filled Mark's wagon when I was around the wagons, or when Spencer was around the wagons, and we had a load on the combine. You could dump on this and then keep going instead of waiting for the guy to get back. That's full. We're gonna take that into town this morning while the beans dry off. Those work good? Yep. Spence, thoughts on bean harvest? This is the first time we harvested 3/4 mile long rows and connected the farm I bought last year from Gary and Spencer's farm here, so it works out nice.
First time just doing soybeans on this field.
Yeah, first time doing soybeans on this field.
Last year was year 1.
Yeah, I think the field average is going to come in
70.
at 70 or right above is what I'm guessing. That's pretty good when you take in all the trees and stuff
And
too.
rows, yeah.
So you got to be pretty happy with that, I think.
Yeah.
We were gonna wait. We were gonna take the last load in with the 40/20 in that wagon, but I got doing some math and I'm like, I think that's like 450 bushel in there, something like that. That's probably a little heavy for the 40/20, but it would be cool to take the last load in off this field with the 40/20 power shift. But I think she's a little too heavy for the 40/20. Guys have a pretty nice setup. It's pretty efficient coming here and stuff. It's kind of nice. Scale's nice, super efficient, large pit. You can dump quick, get out. And right now during bean harvest, it's really not that busy. Like, I don't think me or Spencer have had to wait. We've got like the last 12 acres to cut. It's 10:30, 11. I think the beans are probably ready to go here. As I've gotten older, I realized there's really no reason to rush, especially in beans here, because we're gonna have like a 2-week window with nothing to do during harvest until we start corn. So I've started to realize more like, enjoy the harvest, enjoy it, take your time, enjoy it. Obviously if we had more acres, I'd be rushing a lot more, but just enjoy the harvest. We spread this out over basically 3 days, and it allows you to enjoy the harvest a lot more, kind of. So, we quit early. We quit like 30 minutes before sunset last night. Probably could have went for another 30, 45 minutes, but it's like, there's no point because we wouldn't have got done. So, kind of interesting. And they're around like 13, 14% moisture. And I was like, we got like 12 acres left. I was like, I wonder how much money we're saving by packing it up early when they're around 9%, and then starting, if we can, is that a coyote hole or what?
Yeah.
I think it's a coyote hole.
I went. Is your tire right on it?
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I drove over it.
Basically, I kind of figured if you had 70 bushel beans across here and you're harvesting them at 9%, if you save the last 12 acres to harvest at, we'll say you get it spot on at 13%, you probably earn yourself or make yourself probably, I think we estimate $300 to $400 by just waiting to harvest tomorrow. If you can harvest them at 30 or at 13% moisture, basically like $30 an acre is what you're making, I think, unless my math is way off.
There's a rock right there we're going over. We've had about 1 or 2 rocks come through the feeder house. You can hear it. I think they hit the rock trap, and I just realized we forgot to empty that from yesterday. One big difference from this year is all the work we did on the feeder house, going through grass or weeds, or big slugs of soybeans will come in. Last year when we were running with the feeder house, you'd hear it, you'd feel it. When a slug came in, you'd feel it through the seat kind of thing, and you always worried that you were breaking something. We got an issue. I accidentally flew the drone into the trees. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording. That'd be cool to see. I just had the stick forward and wasn't paying attention. We're gonna have to go fishing for it. Somewhere in here. The funny thing is, I wasn't looking at the remote and I saw it flying here. Now, unfortunately, here's where the recording of the drone stopped and I started to fly back to the combine. And for some reason, I lowered the altitude and forgot that I was holding the forward stick. I was also in sport mode, so all the sensors are off and it's literally going full throttle. All right, so we can go find my drone, start flashing and beeping. All right, I hear it. You hear it beeping?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't have made it that far.
I see it, yeah. Yep, I see it right there. See it?
Oh, yeah. Everything's good, but we just broke one arm.
Oh!
I kinda knew that I was probably going 30 mile an hour into that. I had sport mode on. I had, usually what I do, so it was all the way at the other end of the field. We're driving with the combine. I usually go 80, 100, 200 feet in the air, whatever. And then we were driving, talking, looking around. So I just hold the stick forward, point it in our direction, then I quit looking, because it's 200 feet in the air, it can't hit anything. But I forgot that I wasn't that high, and then shot into the trees. And I didn't even see it on the remote.
Wait, so you saw it?
I looked to my left when you were coming up to the wagon, and I was like, oh, a bird just flew into the tree. I was like, what the hell? And then it wasn't a bird, so. And then I looked at my remote. So it's just that's broken. I wonder if I can replace it. There's 2 screws, and then the only thing is the wire.
I wonder if the 360 camera caught it.
Yeah, I had the 360 camera going, looking at the, well, it's a 360 camera, so it can't miss it. I think it's pretty close. It almost smoked the combine, probably. For some reason, I usually go 200 feet up, and then point it in the direction. I just got distracted. It happened.
And we got the last of the beans here, chasing a little rabbit ahead of us. The first bean crop on this farm. I guess my first crop on this farm and Spencer's first bean crop. So, there we go. Perfect. Last load of beans going in here. So we got this one, probably 500 bushels in this one, and probably 350, 400 in the other one. I think our yield's gonna be 3 or 4 bushel higher actually than what the yield monitor is saying. Based off one of the loads I took in was estimates did 3 or 4 bushel per acre low. So I think we'll be right at 70 or a little over 70, and for this farm, I'm really happy with that. I've talked to a lot of people, and nobody that I've talked to has been over 80 bushel beans, which last year there were some guys down in my neighborhood down south that were over 80 bushel beans on some farms, and nobody I've talked to has been over 80. So I think beans have been a little less than expected this year so far. Hauling 2 wagons at a time is so much more efficient, and the biggest hill we have is right here, and the 8110 just walks right up it, no issues. Of course, we don't have those wagons completely full, but we had them full with Spencer, and he said no issues at all, which last year, if you guys remember, that was a little struggle for me. Okay, me and Spencer did some totaling based off the scale tickets. It yielded above expectations, 71.3 bushels an acre so far. Now there's 1 acre of replant stuff that'll probably yield like 40 or 50 bushel that we're gonna go back in 2 weeks. So really it probably yield like 70 or 69 or something like that. So pretty good, happy with the yields. I think early planting's the way to go. It's a little riskier though, but I don't know, it was higher than I thought. So super pumped for that. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one.